Hey guys, welcome back to Sunny Side Up True Crime ASMR. Today I'm talking about the Missy Bevers case, and I'm going to tell you about the case, and then at the end I'll tell you what my opinion is on the case, on what I think happened and who I think might be responsible. So on April 18th, 2016, so we're coming up on, let's see, 6 years ago, Missy Bevers was getting ready to have a class at a local church in Texas where she lives. And she was waiting, like she was getting prepared for the class, so she goes early. And she taught a fitness class. So just after 4 a.m., Missy arrived at this church to prepare for her fitness class. So that's very early. So at 5 a.m., her students started to arrive, and they found her and called 911. She had head injury and multiple puncture wounds to her chest. She died shortly after the paramedics arrived. So that's when the investigation started. So I'm gonna lock my doors, even though there's nobody around, you know. If you're into true crime, you know to lock your doors. So there ended up as evidence being footage of the suspect in the church before Missy arrived, walking around, opening doors, breaking glass, breaking door windows. And if you just first glanced at this suspect, you would see someone in SWAT team police attire. So this video is very chilling to me because it's taken right before she arrived, and I just think how creepy that is. And it's possible they have the murder on film. They're just not sharing it or telling us about it, because the police know so much more than we do. Even though we try to claim that we've looked into it, they have a lot more evidence than we do. So they said the person is between 5'2" and 5'8". They have a very, they have a very unique walk, and their feet point outward, their hands kind of swing to the side, and they have like a hunchback. So they said that nothing was missing from the church, so it wasn't like a robbery gone wrong. And Missy even still had her wedding ring on, so they didn't take anything from her. So initially, during the search and the investigation, they asked her husband if him and Missy had any problems, and he said no. And later they found out that he actually had financial problems, and that she was cheating on him. So basically he lied. I think he probably thought it would make him look like a suspect if they had financial problems and she was cheating on him. So he was trying to act like they had a perfect marriage, because Missy was married and had 3 daughters. So interestingly enough, her husband was out of town the day she got murdered. And so was her father-in-law. So people, wondered who did this. The town was probably scared there was a killer on the loose. And then we see a video of the husband and the father-in-law at the police station. And when the father-in-law is walking, everyone sees a familiar, unique walk. A familiar, unique hunchback. A familiar, unique foot outward pointing. A familiar, unique arms hanging on the side, not touching the body. And a lot of people feel like the father-in-law is the man in the video footage from the church. I actually feel that way too. I feel kind of like, that saying, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, then it's probably a duck. If it walks like the father-in-law, it is the father-in-law. Regardless, I don't have all the facts, so I don't know that it's the father-in-law. But regardless, I believe the husband and the father-in-law know who did it. Or the father-in-law did it, and the husband knows. And these are my reasons for believing that. Classic mob move is when the mob boss orders a hit where he's gonna be looked at like maybe he's the one that did it. He flies to Florida, he goes out of town so that he can be like, oh, well, I couldn't possibly have had anything to do with it. I was all the way in Florida. So I believe John Gotti did this move. John Gotti's 12-year-old son was hit by a car. And it was a tragic accident. But John Gotti's wife blamed the driver of the car. I mean, obviously the guy did hit the boy, but accidents happen. His son was on a moped. So John Gotti flies to Florida with his family, and witnesses see that guy pushed in a car, and he's never heard from again, So of course John Gotti can say, I was in Florida. I don't know anything about this. But it could be a case of, John, you need to go to Florida next week, wink, wink, because you don't want to be in town when this goes down. So, either the father-in-law says to the son, I'm going to take care of things. You don't want to be in town next week. You know nothing. The son goes out of town. The father-in-law goes out of town and drives back in town that night, does what he needs to do, and then leaves town again. I think that's why a lot of people are confused how it could be the father-in-law, because they think, how can he be out of town, but he could drive through the night? Where depends. I mean, we've seen this in stories before. We've seen this happen many times, and he has an alibi, which could be his wife, who probably has covered for him in the past. So really, him being out of town, for either one of them, the father or the son, it doesn't mean anything to me. It just makes them look more guilty to me. If they were in town, I might even believe them more. But that you want to go out of town this particular day, it's just very obvious to me why. So the police obviously know more than all of us. And it's possible they don't have enough evidence against the father-in-law. So the other weird thing that happened was the father-in-law brought 2 bloody shirts to the local dry cleaners, you know, after the murders. So the dry cleaners called the police, and it ends up, it was his wife's dog's blood, which I find a little disturbing too. That could be a whole nother thing, like she threatened to tell, he like injured the dog and said, you know, I can do this to you if you don't keep your mouth shut. Stuff like that could happen in relationships like that. But my thought is, if you have a white t-shirt and you get your dog's blood on it, wouldn't you throw it away? Like, you could buy another white t-shirt for $3, but you want to go to the dry cleaners and get it cleaned professionally. That to me is really weird. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, why did he even do that little scenario? Why did he have that whole incident happen? Unless he was trying to see, like, how much the police knew, and he thought by doing this he could be talking to the police and see where they're going with it. I don't know. I don't really understand that part. But I know some people have different ideas. Some people think it was a woman. But to me, I think he walks like a woman, so I feel like it could be him still. Other people think it's somebody in the class, but I feel like they would have figured that out by now. Some people think it's like the girlfriend of the guy she was like having an affair with, and you know, that's possible. All this stuff is possible, but they can't take away the fact that it looks like the father-in-law's walk. And I don't even know why the father-in-law and the son have not come forward and said, yes, you know, this does look like my walk. You know what I mean? I don't get that. But I heard someone say one time, and this is the only other scenario I can think of that it could be, is if there's a sister, like the father-in-law has a daughter, the husband has a sister who looks like her dad, has that same back, has the same foot that goes out. That's the only other scenario I could think of that could fit. It could be like a relative that looks like him. And of course, this is all my opinion. That's why I kind of feel like this is like a kind of a case closed kind of thing. Now, she had 3 daughters. And these daughters could easily find out if it's the father-in-law, you know? There's just things that happen in families that you only hear about in your family. Like, maybe there's someone else missing in the family. Maybe there's a coworker of the grandpa missing. The daughters can definitely figure this out. They will definitely know in their heart if that's their grandfather on that video. They have potential to open this case back up and get this solved. It just depends, you know, like, is your mother's justice worth that to you, to break up your family? And I feel like it would be to me. But every family's different. So I think when they get older, I'm not sure how old they are, but when they become adults, I feel like it's something they could look into. They could get some answers that only family could get. But that's my opinion on the Missy Bevers case. I can't think of a lot of theories in this case just because I am so strongly feeling it's the father-in-law. I know other people feel differently, but this is when I'm glad that there are police and authorities that know more than we do. They haven't forgot, you know, they know who they have their eye on. They know who they're waiting to slip up. And it's out of our hands, you know. We have our opinions, but there's nothing we can do about it. Except, you know, pray for closure, pray for justice for Missy. Even though she was cheating on her husband, no woman or man deserves to be murdered because of it. You should just divorce them. If you feel, you know, if you're the other man, or if you're the husband or wife, like, divorce them. Don't kill them. Like, it's no different than them cheating on you. It's worse. Like, I think murdering someone is worse than being unfaithful. And you're gonna do that just because you don't like it. I mean, obviously it's not good that she cheated on her husband, but it's not worthy of what happened to her. You know, that was her life. Like, you can't take someone's life and take those 3 girls' mother. She was making a difference in her life. She was being a positive change for people. They probably look forward to going to her class. She inspired people to do better. But what did the murderer do? What kind of life is he leading that instead of giving, he's taking? Like, he's taking bright lights away from the world. And he's walking around with his dark light of hate, you know? Like, the world was a better place because Missy was in it, you know? And it's a worse place because the murderer is still in it. I don't know if that's picking up, but there was a rainbow. It's like a rainbow over there. In the sky, like a little rainbow. I don't know. Maybe it'll show up. Maybe it won't. But that is the way I feel on the Missy Bevers case. And as of all cases, you know, these are just my opinions. I don't want to blame. That's why I usually don't use names when I feel like someone's a certain suspect. I don't use names because I definitely don't know for sure. So I'm not going to throw his name in the mud. That's why I just use terms like father-in-law, brother-in-law, whatever. So basically, that's my opinion. Rest in peace, Missy Bevers. And I appreciate all my subscribers. Subscribe if you're new, and thank you for watching.